Right, in the last video I got the bike back here with the oil pressure light on, and I swapped the oil pressure switch, this little guy here. I'm not really overly concerned because I haven't actually touched anything which is going to really affect oil pressure. I haven't been in the bottom end of the engine, so I'm going to swap this oil pressure switch out and see what happens, and then if that still carries on, I'm going to have to get hold of an oil gauge and see what's going on here. But I've got one of these out of the other motor. Hoping not too much oil pisses out of here. Yeah, because replacing the pistons, you're not touching anything which is under oil pressure. Had the tensioner out of it, but I don't think that will make a difference. See, there was no top end noises. Normally if you've got low oil pressure, the top end will start rattling, and there was none of that. It's actually really quite quiet, so I'm hoping it's just something like this. And went out for a road test again, and it didn't make any difference. I really need an oil pressure gauge so I can actually see what the oil pressure is doing, but I spent a good deal of hours actually looking for one. Getting hold of a gauge is no problem, but to find one with a sender what fits in the recess on the motor is difficult. So I need to sort of get hold of an adapter which is a little bit longer, which will go in a recess with a T-piece on it so I can run a switch as well, and actually get a gauge on it. I couldn't even buy a gauge from a tool shop as a workshop tool. So I can't get hold of one for quite a few days, and we're going to the drags tomorrow night. So the next step. This is the old Autometer tacho out of my race car. It does actually still work. So I'm going to use this Pro light, which is actually an oil pressure light, for an oil pressure light. Right, so let's make sure it works. There you go. Look at that. The reason they all look like they do is because they went under in the floods in 2011. This was all on my race car in England, but for some reason I've got this rev counter out in Australia with me now, and it was in my house in 2011, which went underwater in the floods. So that's why it's all muddy like that. So let's clean all this up and we can use this. That's pretty mad. Like, I didn't realise it was that simple with just a bloody 382 bulb in there. It's been a few years since I've cleaned flood mud off of stuff. That's a smell you never forget, the floods. Right, so this little guy here, this is the oil pressure switch, and basically that's all it is. It's a switch. What happens is that there's just one terminal on it, and that terminal, when there's no oil pressure, earths out through the body here, and then when there's oil pressure in it, it opens that circuit and breaks the circuit. So basically that's how the oil light works. The oil light, the negative side of the bulb for the oil light goes on that terminal there, and then you just run an ignition feed to the other side of the bulb, and then it puts the light on when this is earthed out, and then when you've got oil pressure, it opens a circuit and the light goes out. That's how that works. So all I've done is I've wired in my own oil pressure light to this, because I believe there's a wiring fault on the bike, or something to do with the dash, or something's not right. So we're going to road test it now with that and see what happens. So that's my oil pressure light there. It's pretty big, but what you do is at night you put that cover on it there, and then during the day, so it's designed for race cars so that you know when you've got bad oil pressure, even though generally when this guy comes on it's way too late. Right, need some fuel, so we'll go for 98 octane. Right, the thing about octane, higher octane doesn't actually give you more power. With the higher octane you get less detonation, so you can actually advance the timing. That's where your power comes from. but just actually putting higher octane fuel in your car or bike doesn't make any difference. It's probably a bit more powerful with a lower octane. Right, here's me 25-year-old oil pressure light. Look, there's still some mud in it. Right, now let's see if we can ride it and it comes on or not. Right, let's hit the highway and see what happens. Pretty confident it's going to be good. Been riding it about a bit, it's pretty warm. I think it would have come on by now. We've been 3,000 RPM in third. Shit, oil lights on. Oh well. Right, so now I've changed the oil. I've got semi-synthetic oil in it now. I had fully synthetic before, and I think I've been down this road before where fully synthetic oil does funny things. So it might be affecting the oil pressure switch in some way. We'll see. I'm going to take it for a ride now and see what happens. Your oil light hasn't come on yet. Right, this is the point at which the oil light was coming on before, when you've just done a bit of a run and then it idles. Seems okay. So I'm going to have to rely on an oil pressure light, which isn't a great way of doing it because they don't come on until the pressure gets pretty low. But I am quite certain that there's nothing actually wrong with the engine oil pressure wise, so we're going to give it a go. I do actually need to do a bit of research on the oil system, find out where the oil pressure relief valve is and whether I can actually make that adjustable and stuff. And I can also see if there's any other oil galleries I can drill and tap into to get my oil pressure gauge in there. And also in the future, when I turbocharge it, I'm going to need an oil feed for the turbocharger from somewhere. So this is all stuff I've got to research and look into now. So I've now done a bit of work on the timing. Well, I say I've done a bit of work on the timing. What I've done is I've put the original bobber timing maps on it and actually taken timing out where the boost is. Because now I've got the low compression pistons in, the sort of timing map I'd built was for the higher compression Thruxton pistons. So now this should be pretty spicy, a lot spicier than what it was. So I'm going to try it. I'm going to keep an eye on the air fuel ratio and then gradually build it up again, and then get it hot as well, see if the oil light comes on, and hopefully it all should be good. And then if all's good, I'm going to make a mount for my phone on the tank, so that when we go to the drags tomorrow night, I can do a live stream and you can actually come along when I race it, sitting on my tank. So I'm just off to Bunnings now to get some sort of suction device to go on here. Right, so this is what I've got, one of these suction cups. So now I've just got to fit my phone to that. Definitely got more go in it now, and this didn't fall off. I don't think that's going to. Right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a practice launch with the traction control off. See what it's like in first gear. Alright, traction control's off. Where's the sun? Hopefully I'll be able to feel my FR gauge and the boost gauge at the same time as well. Alright. Okay, I didn't go completely stupid. I did take it a bit easy, but it feels very stable and it's not going to get really wild. So next time I do that, I'll be on a drag strip, and I think it'll be quite good. I'll give it a bit more than that as well. There was a car coming up behind me, so I didn't really get time to sort of get the revs where I wanted them. Right, well, success, the oil light hasn't come on. So next stage, to get hold of an oil pressure gauge, check the oil pressure, then put the fully synthetic oil back in it again and check the pressure again, see what's going on there. See if it's actually causing low oil pressure or it's something with the synthetic oil that's making a switch play up. Right, what I've done, look, is I've just put a couple of little self-tappers through that phone holder. That's actually goes on a wristband or an armband so that when you're jogging you can have your phone. And I've got that on my suction cup. See, that twists around as well so you can have it in portrait mode as well. And that is going to suck onto my tank and I can do a live stream while I'm racing. Check that out. So that's that then. So in the next video, well, the next video will probably be a live stream from Willowbank tomorrow night, where I'm going to put the camera, my phone there, on here, and it's going to face that way. So you'll be able to come down the strip with me. And then probably on Sunday I'll probably publish a video about what happened at the drags tomorrow night. Hopefully if all goes well. But the bike's running great, the tune's good, I'm pretty sure the oil pressure's good. Ready to go, looking forward to it. So don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, like this video and comment as well. Stay healthy, drink plenty of water and have a great day.